Welcome to our Year 7 curriculum evening, our virtual Year 7 curriculum evening. Seems strange, stood in a room next to a banner where normally I'll be stood in a hall with lots of parents and students welcoming you all to this event. But welcome, and before I go any further, I'd like to say how absolutely fantastic our new Year 7s have been so far. They've settled in fantastically well, really pleased with them. I meet them every morning on the gate, I sanitise their hands, and we have a lovely good morning and a chat. So they're a credit to you and we're very proud of them, so thank you. Well done, Year 7. This presentation is an opportunity for people to hear, for you to hear about what Year 7 will be learning and how they'll be learning. There'll be presentations from English, Maths and Science, but there is a booklet that accompanies this presentation that will cover all the other subject areas that Year 7 will be learning in. Now you'll see on here that our motto, Progress, Partnership and Pride, is prominent because that really does underpin everything that we do. Ultimately, we want everyone in the school to make tremendous progress. And this is the first step, really, in helping you understand how students will learn. But partnership is really key. I always say at events like these that I see us working as like a triangle, with the student in one corner, the school in another corner, and home in another corner, with us all working together. And this is us communicating with you. It's a two-way communication channel, so do please keep in touch. Any concerns, any questions, we're there to answer those. So that's all from me. I hope you find the presentation useful, and I look forward to seeing you very soon.
So a big hello from Hampton College Science Department and our team here. You might recognise some of your science teachers. My name is Miss Rich and I am in charge of the Key Stage 3 Science curriculum here.
So why do I need to study science?
Really good question. What are our kind of aims here in the science department? So we've got four main aims. I would say one of the big ones at the moment is we want to make you scientifically kind of able to read lots of information. So there's lots going on with science at the minute. Can you read the news and understand that? The next one, parents, I am sorry, is do you have an inquiring mind, okay? Do you ask lots of questions why? If so, we definitely would like you to ask those in science. We also want to create students who are able to carry out practicals nice and safely and get good results. And we would love it for into GCSE if you would consider to take separate science and even further on into A-levels.
That sounds like something I might want to do. What kind of things will we study in Year 7?
So, you will have studied Year 7 in science so far, your introduction to science. So you will have looked at things like your hazard symbols, the layout of a lab, you might have named some pieces of equipment. You've actually done your very first investigation with pendulums and been able to plot some graphs of those. Now going on, you are starting your material now. The way we run our science curriculum is in what we call blocks. So for instance, this is block 1. Blocks consist of 3 main topics. So your first block, you might recognise these. You've got energy transfers, you've got cells, and you've got particle models. Okay? Now moving on, so that's our block 1. You've also got block 2, block 3, block 4, and block 5, okay? So this will take us the full year to get through, and then after block 5 we're going to go back and you are going to do another investigation to practice some of those skills and put them to good use.
Will I get to do practical work?
Great question about practical work, something that we always get asked. We will always make sure that you get an opportunity to do your practical work in a laboratory, but you might have already been up with your teacher to do your pendulums experiment. We will always make sure for every topic We will try and get you to do an appropriate experiment, and everything will be nice and safe and risk assessed before you do so.
What kind of assessments will I get?
Assessments, for each block you can see that you have 3 different topics, and you will get a short piece of assessment for each of those topics, okay? It's nothing big, it might be in class, it might be part of your home learning, but you will get feedback on that, and that will then help you to improve through your topic. Then, at the end of each block, you will get a block test, and that's going to be more formal in class. It will be an hour exam, and it will test all 3 of those topics within that block, okay? And that will really help us make sure that you progress properly.
Okay, that sounds manageable. You mentioned home learning. What should I expect to get?
Okay, home learning, okay? Yes, I'm afraid we still have to do home learning. When you are looking for your home learning, we do know that we use a few different platforms and you might not know where to look. So our main advice would always be to check Bromcom. It might direct you to other places like Teams, but we will put everything on Bromcom first, okay? So over each block, you'll get some different home learnings, but some of those might be learning some keywords, and we'll give you a little test on about 10 keywords during the lesson in a few weeks' time. You will get a recap task, which will be on your last block to make sure that's still really fresh for you. You'll get a skills check, such as graph drawing, naming equipment, and then your last piece of assessment, your last piece of home learning will be your block test revision. And you're not just left to your own devices to do that. We will direct you and help you, because we understand home learning and revision can be a little bit boring sometimes. So, things that are there ready to help you, you can use BBC Bitesize. We also recommend a site called Seneca. This is something that you sign up for yourself, okay? And it will then lead you through different topics in a bite-sized way. And we also use Educate, and we use Educate for short questions, and we can see the answers and give you immediate feedback on those.
Thank you very much for all that information. If I have any more questions, what could I do?
Who do you contact? Your first port of call will always be your science teacher. They know you best, and they will be able to answer a lot of those questions. However, if there's something more that you think you might need, then please feel free to get in contact and drop me an email.
Hi, I'm Miss Joseph, Acting Second in Department in Maths, and I'll be talking to you a little bit about what we do in the Maths department.
What will I be learning in maths in Year 7?
Learning sequences, and probably have started on understand and use algebraic notation. And as we go through the year, we will be learning various topics such as fractions, decimals, percentages, and positive and negative numbers, and geometry.
What is learning maths like in Year 7?
In Year 7, we have started White Rose Maths Scheme. This follows the mastery approach. So you'll be learning mathematical concepts in depth so that you understand each concept really well before you proceed to the next. We will use lots of visuals, animations, and pictures to help you understand the mathematical concepts you are learning. Most of you are probably learning algebra right now in lessons, and you will find we are using function machines in lessons to help you have a visual understanding of how algebraic operations work. We will also be using concrete pictorial abstract model of learning. Here, you'll be introduced to concepts such as fractions and algebra using concrete and physical manipulatives such as Cuisenaire rods and algebra tiles to help you understand what the letters and operations represent. We then move to drawing pictures and diagrams to consolidate your understanding. Drawing diagrams will help you visualize a mathematical problem and make them much more accessible. And then we move to more abstract representations of working with numbers and letters when you're grounded in your understanding. This approach really helps build a good foundation for future learning in later years. In lessons, we will also focus on your reasoning and generalizing skills. Spotting patterns is really an important part of learning maths, and so you'll be doing plenty of this. You will notice that getting an answer to a maths question is not as important as being able to explain why that is the answer. We also believe that it is possible for every single one of you to become successful at maths.
What happens if I'm really weak in maths?
Confident in maths, because we're really good at supporting your learning. We will be using a lot of pictures and manipulatives that will help you understand and make sense of what you are learning. This will help you build a really good foundation and make you more confident. We also believe that every child can do maths, and it's our job to make sure we support you in your journey to understand maths better.
What happens if I am really good in maths?
That's a really good question. We have loads and loads of challenge questions for you to do. This will help you understand each concept more deeply, and instead of moving on to new topics, you will actually spend time understanding each concept and working through them. So you can see here some of the tasks that we have that will help you to challenge yourself.
What equipment will I need in maths?
I expect you to bring pencil, pen and calculator, preferably a Casio one. You should make sure you have compass and protractor for when we do lessons on angles.
How about home learning?
We have Haggerty Maths. It is a website which has video lessons and quiz for you to complete online. It will mark your work automatically and give you a score. The teachers can look at your work and give feedback. If you have any questions, you can ask questions and the teachers can provide you with some feedback.
Will we be tested in maths?
Topic, you will have a mini assessment. You might have just had a mini assessment for the sequences topic. I know most of you might be really worried about tests and assessments, but these assessments give us teachers really important and useful information on how to teach you well and how to support you and challenge you in lessons. So, instead of feeling anxious, please know it will help us to teach you better. We will also have a bigger assessment later on in the year, which again gives us useful information about what you are doing well on and what needs to improve.
What are the teachers like in maths?
All the teachers in the maths department, and yes, we are definitely a friendly and supportive bunch, and you're always welcome to come and ask us questions whenever you want. That's it.
What kind of books will I be reading in Year 7?
Well, in Year 7, we read a variety of novels. So, for example, we've got this one called Wheels, which is a bit of a thriller, a whodunit. We've got The Ghost Behind the Wall, a supernatural ghost story. Boy in the Striped Pyjamas, a bit of a historical drama there. Calling a Dead Man, a bit of a murder mystery thriller. And Skellig, which is a bit of a fantasy story. Obviously lots and lots of good themes that we have in those as well. When we read books though in Year 7, we don't just read for enjoyment, we read for meaning, and mainly focusing on how the writer has created meaning. The writer's craft is at the heart of everything we do. We don't just read stories though, we do also read non-fiction. Here's a little example of some non-fiction that you might do in Year 7. So this is about child beauty competitions in the modern day, and then we compare that with how children were treated in the 19th century. So you have a little bit of a contextual comparison there of different times. And again, looking at how the writers have created meaning.
What about writing? Will I be able to write my own stories?
Definitely. One of our biggest writing units that we do throughout 7, 8, 9, 10 and 11 is creative writing, where you have to write either a narrative, like a story, or a description. And the other type of writing that we do is persuasive writing. So it's not just story writing, we also do like non-fiction type writing, looking at your persuasive writing skills. So for example, in Year 7, you might write a gothic story that might sound something like, silence, spine-chilling silence. I was back at the archway. Turning around to go back, I realised there was another way to go. Or you might be writing your letter, persuading people that maybe beauty pageants are a good or a bad thing for children. For example, Even though we consider the fact that beauty pageants instill confidence, stamina and resilience, they also cause children to feel like they have to win and be caked in makeup, which could make them depressed.
Do I have to do homework?
Yes, unfortunately you do. However, we have made it really nice and easy in the English department. Every unit that you teach, we have a nice little homework booklet that accompanies the units. So every week you will have a homework task to do, and it will be related to what you've done in lessons. It's nice and easy. And to make it even easier, we've now attached this online to our online platforms like Teams, so you can actually do it online and send the work directly to your teacher online, and you can get it marked that way much more quickly than you normally would have done. So it's actually everyone's a winner. It's brilliant.
Will I have tests? How will I know if my work needs improving?
Guide you all the way up to the end test or assessment that you'll be doing. Don't have to worry about anything, because the lessons will guide you there. You'll be ready for the assessment at the end of the unit. And at the end of every unit, you'll have your work marked, and it will have a nice little sheet like this on it, where we can actually look at the skills that you've achieved and see where the areas are that you need to work on. During the actual unit of work, we will also be using these targets. This is a writing target. This is success criteria. So if you can manage to do all of these things during the unit, then we're just looking at the ones that you need to work on afterwards. And this goes into year 8 and year 9, 10 and 11. So by the time you get into doing your GCSEs, you should be an expert at it.